How to resolve Git authentication issues with SSH or PATS. Imagine trying to push your code to a remote repository and suddenly getting a wall of errors. Frustrating, right? Well, today we're going to walk through how to fix those pesky Git authentication problems using SSH keys or personal access tokens. These issues often pop up because of misconfigurations or expired credentials, but don't worry, they're easy to troubleshoot once you understand the basics. First, let's talk about SSH authentication. SSH stands for Secure Shell, and it uses cryptographic keys instead of passwords. You generate a pair of keys, a private and a public one. The public key gets added to your Git hosting service like GitHub or GitLab, and the private key stays on your computer. When you try to connect, SSH uses these keys to verify your identity. One common problem is the permission denied error that says public key not accepted. This usually means your SSH key isn't added to your account or the SSH agent isn't running. To fix this, check if your SSH key exists in the default folder by running ls/ssh. If you don't see a key, generate one with SSH keygen, ed25519c, your email at example.com. Then, add the public key to your Git service account. You can do this by copying the contents of your public key file, usually ed25519pub, and pasting it into your account's SSH keys section. Next, make sure your SSH agent is running and your key is loaded. You can start the agent with eval, SSH agents, and add your key with SSH add /SSH/ID ed25519. To verify if your key is loaded, run SSH add. After that, test your connection by typing ssh-tgit at github.com. If you see a message like, "You have successfully authenticated," you're good to go. Sometimes, the server's SSH fingerprint changes, and you get a host key verification error. This means the server's identity has changed, which could be a security concern. To fix this, remove the old fingerprint from your known hosts file by editing /ssh/known hosts or running ssh keygen r/github.com. Then, reconnect to the server and accept the new fingerprint when prompted. Firewall or network restrictions can also block SSH connections, especially on corporate or school networks. If port 22 is blocked, you can configure SSH to connect over port 443, which is usually open because it's used for HTTPS. You do this by editing your SSH config file at /ssh/config and adding a section like hostgithub.com, hostname ssh.github.com, port 443. Once you've sorted out SSH, let's switch gears to personal access tokens. These are used when connecting over HTTPS instead of SSH. Many services have disabled password authentication for security reasons, so PATS act as a secure replacement. A common issue with PATS is using an expired or revoked token. To fix this, generate a new token from your Git hosting services settings page. Make sure to select the right scopes or permissions, such as repository access or workflow permissions. When you clone or push, Git will prompt you for a password. Instead of your old password, paste the PAT. Sometimes, your system might cache old credentials, causing conflicts. To clear this, you can run git credential cache exit or use your credential manager to remove outdated entries. On Windows, the credential manager stores these details, and on Mac, you can use the Keychain Access app. Updating your credentials ensures Git uses the new PAT. To avoid future issues, you can configure Git to store your credentials securely. Run git config credential helper cache to temporarily cache your credentials or use git config, a credential helper store to save them permanently. This way, you won't have to enter your PAT every time. Always remember to keep your Git client updated. Newer versions support the latest authentication methods and security features. If you're working with self-hosted repositories, double-check that your server configurations are correct and that your SSH or HTTPS settings match what your server expects. By following these steps, you can quickly troubleshoot and resolve Git authentication issues. Whether you're using SSH keys or personal access tokens, getting your credentials sorted out will keep your development workflow smooth and efficient.